The story takes place on a summer night in a small Italian seaside town. Two fishermen are fishing nearby, but one of them is feeling uneasy, because there have always been stories about sea monsters in this area. But the more you worry about something, the more likely it is to happen. A sea monster sneaks onto a small boat to look for stuff, but the fishermen spot him. The monster panics and accidentally gets tangled in the fishing net. To escape, he does a reverse flip and dives back into the water, managing to get away. From this, you can tell just how scared the fishermen are of sea monsters. As the scattered items sink to the bottom, another mysterious underwater world slowly comes into view. This is Luca, a young sea monster boy. He realizes that a few of the small fish he's been raising have escaped, like a shepherd who's lost some sheep. Luca is afraid his mom will yell at him, so he frantically starts catching the fish. He catches them one by one and even mimics the way adults talk when scolding the fish. But it also shows that he really wants to see the outside world. Every day he herds the fish to one spot to feed them, and life feels pretty boring. But soon, various items that have fallen off boats and sunk to the seafloor catch his attention. At first, he's a little scared, but his curiosity grows and he gets bolder. Then a cruise ship passes by and Luca quickly hides with his fish. He's afraid of the human monsters his parents talk about, but he's also really drawn to the unknown world above the surface. But right now, he doesn't dare cross that line. Then his mom calls him home for dinner, so he quickly hides everything and heads back with his fish. His mom is very cautious and worried about her son's safety, repeatedly reminding Luca to stay away from humans. Luca's desire to explore the outside world and his mom's fear for his safety. You can understand both sides. No matter which side you're on, it's a tough call. But compared to adults, a kid's longing is written all over their face. His grandmother notices what Luca is thinking and says she once visited the town where human monsters live. That really piques Luca's interest, but his mom hates talking about it because she knows curiosity can be dangerous. To ease the tension, she says some comforting words to Luca, which work for the time being. In any family, if hurt and pressure go on for too long, the relationship either explodes in silence or withers away. It's a hard balance to strike, but it's definitely worth thinking about. As soon as Luca leaves, he forgets his mom's warnings and happily gets lost in his own world. Just then, he spots a record player, but suddenly a figure holding what looks like a harpoon appears behind him, and he's terrified. Turns out this guy is also a sea monster, the same one who was stealing things on that summer night. He's here to collect items that have sunk to the bottom, and he takes Luca's walking stick, forcing Luca to follow him. But then Luca sees this monster actually step onto land. He even pulls Luca up with him, indirectly helping Luca cross the boundary he never dared to cross before. Luca is shocked to discover that he's turned into a human. With the other sea monster boy's guidance, Luca slowly relaxes during his first time on land. The beautiful coastline, the lush trees and the green leaves, everything is so wonderful and strange. Luca can't help but marvel at how amazing and colorful the world above the sea is, but he quickly realizes he shouldn't be here. Once you open Pandora's box, you can't close it again. Luca's head is filled with everything he saw on land. The next day, he can't resist the urge anymore. He makes a fake stone guard for the fish and heads back to the shallows. But this time, he doesn't have the courage to cross over on his own, because last time someone helped him. Another young sea monster sees this and feels for him, so he hands Luca a few things to hold, helping him get past his fear. With his friend's help, Luca finally finds the courage to go ashore, and he watches himself transform from sea monster to human. This is way better than the Little Mermaid. At least he doesn't have to trade his voice for legs. But stepping into a completely unfamiliar world isn't that simple. For example, switching from swimming mode to walking mode is tricky. Luca is still basically a fish person. Luckily, his buddy is there to help, telling him to stack his body piece by piece like building with stones so he can stand. Luca succeeds, but walking is another story. He has to keep his balance. Imagine walking like swimming but without fins or a tail, and constantly remember he's not in the water. It's like a kung fu master teaching a beginner how to stand, not easy at all. Then his friend realizes he's overcomplicating it, and tries to simplify. Little by little, Luca figures it out and learns to walk like a human. The truth is, everything has a trick to it. Once you get the core down, you'll remember it even years later. Then the friend introduces himself as Alberto. He uses a uniquely human handshake to prove he's an expert on humans. Next, Alberto takes Luca to his secret hideout. Alberto says he lives here with his dad, but his dad doesn't visit much, so he does whatever he wants. Basically, he's been living on his own. Luca doubts whether it's safe here, but Alberto insists everything great is on land, like breathing fresh air, bungee jumping because of gravity, and seeing the sky, clouds, and sun. You shouldn't stare at the sun though, even though they both do anyway. Even cooler are all the human tools Alberto has collected. Besides the record player, the thing that excites Luca most is a Vespa scooter. Alberto explains it's the greatest human invention. Just hop on and it'll take you anywhere you want. Luca immediately calls it the Vespa of freedom. Luca gets an idea. maybe they can use Alberto's spare parts to build their own Vespa. They quickly agree and team up to make a scooter. But then Luca realizes it's time to go home, so he reluctantly says goodbye to Alberto. An hour later though, Luca is still there, still saying goodbye. Classic case of I'll walk you 1,000 miles without actually leaving. 3 hours pass, and they finish building their first scooter. This time, Luca really has to go. When he gets home, his mom questions him, but thankfully his grandmother covers for him, and Luca is super grateful. The next day, Alberto wants to test their scooter. The test is simple: ride it off a cliff. Luca is too scared to participate, so he's in charge of setting up the ramp. Alberto is brave and goes for it without hesitation. But the scooter falls apart mid-air, and he basically runs the rest of the way down. Still, Alberto is pretty satisfied with the first attempt, so they keep trying, failing, and learning. And it's filled with the joy of summer and friendship. They lose themselves in the fun. But Luca's secret is soon discovered by his parents. With all their hard work, the scooter gradually starts to work. During breaks, they even try to learn human language. They're full of confidence and so adorable, showing all the boldness and innocence of kids. Alberto wants Luca to participate too, but first he needs to help him face his fear. He tells Luca that there's a fear maker inside his head. All he has to do is tell it to shut up, and that's how the scene at the beginning happens. They ride the scooter and fly into the sky without a care. Everything they do that summer fills them with joy and satisfaction. They look up at the stars and soak in the beauty. To prove he's a human expert, Alberto insists the stars and moon are actually a school of small fish and one big fish. Life here makes Luca emotional. He really envies Alberto's dreamlike existence. Because before this, Luca could only see things like this in his dreams. But what he doesn't know is that Alberto's freedom comes with loneliness and risk. That's why Alberto values their friendship so much. They gaze at the human town and dream of riding a Vespa on a journey to freedom. They shoot off the ramp and glide through a sky full of squid-shaped stars. But soon, everything falls apart. Luca's dream is over, and he has to rush home. Sneaking back, Luca gets caught by his parents. Now he's in big trouble. His mom doesn't want him risking his life on land, so she decides to send Luca to the deep sea with relatives. There, he'll live in total darkness. His mom's harsh, overbearing move makes Luca rebellious and angry, but she insists it's for his own good. Luca can't accept it. Just like before, too much pressure leads to rebellion. Clearly, Luca has finally snapped. He runs straight to Alberto to figure out what to do. Alberto gets an idea. If Luca's parents might come looking for him here, would they go to the human town? They should go there, find a real Vespa, and go anywhere they want. That beautiful dream becomes their motivation to do something crazy. They head toward the human town they've always dreamed of. When they arrive, they sneak ashore on an abandoned boat and try to blend in. At first, Luca is scared. They try to greet people, but their words come out all wrong. Still, they think they've pulled it off. The human town is full of wonders, and everything feels new. They decide to try again. The results aren't great, but the gelato is amazing. Luca quickly realizes this place is full of dangers. But then a Vespa appears, and all those threats are forgotten, except it's being ridden by the local bullies. Luca doesn't know how to play soccer, and one kick gets him into trouble. The bullies mock them for being so out of place and push Luca around, forcing him to wash off his fishy smell. Luckily, Julia shows up and defends them. She's disgusted by the bullies, but the two boys can't understand her Italian, so the situation is awkward. They part ways. But Luca suddenly remembers he should ask Julia about the race. It might have something to do with a Vespa. After asking around, they find out that the prize isn't a Vespa, but the prize money is enough to buy a used one. It's not the exact one they dreamed of, but in their minds it's everything they want. So they decide to enter the race. Julia warns them it's no joke. It's a triathlon involving biking, eating pasta, and swimming. They join Julia's team, hoping to win, but everything's hard at first. Just biking is a huge challenge. With Julia's help, Luca learns to look forward so he won't fall, finally getting the hang of it. Julia has no idea who these clumsy kids are, but she understands exactly what Luca means when he talks about chasing freedom, so she takes them in. Their plan is for Luca to bike, Alberto to eat pasta, and Julia to swim. The two brothers are great swimmers, but they'd risk exposure in the water, so they take other roles. Team Underdog is set. The only problem left is the entry fee. Julia has to ask her dad for the money at the fisherman's house. The boys are nervous. Even though they're scared, the pasta is delicious. Julia tells her dad about the race, but he says money is tight. Julia offers to work more, but her dad says what they're short on is fish. And when it comes to fishing, the boys are pros. Thanks to his daughter's persuasion, the dad agrees to let them help. That night, Julia realizes the boys have nowhere to stay, so she sets them up in her family's secret hideout. Meanwhile, Luca's parents can't find him, and finally muster the courage to come to the human town. They're shocked by their own transformation, but nothing will stop them from finding their son. Back with Luca, a rainy night almost exposes them, but they manage to get away just in time. Later, they take a risk and get on a fishing boat. Julia's dad isn't catching much, but Luca and Alberto say they know where the fish are hiding. They come back with a huge haul, and Julia is amazed. Clearly they know fishing. They are sea monsters after all. With their help, they finally raise the entry fee. But at registration, the bullies steal their money. Luca taunts them, and their pride kicks in. They give the money back and say they'll destroy them in the race. After registering, the real training begins. Eating all kinds of pasta, biking up and down hills, and crashing is part of the routine. Julia's slow swimming style leaves the boys speechless. The bullies show up and nearly expose them, but they manage to escape. Luca's parents hatch a plan to find him. They pretend to play soccer and try to push all the kids into the water. Luca nearby realizes his parents have arrived. Alberto gets jealous when he sees Luca and Julia getting close, afraid he'll lose his only friend, and sure enough, his fears come true. Alberto's goal is clear: get a Vespa and ride off with Luca forever. But Luca is different, more naive, and as he learns more about human life, he starts falling in love with this new world. Julia tells him the things in the sky aren't fish, they're stars and the moon. Through a telescope, Luca sees a whole new universe. The human world is so colorful, not at all what Alberto said. It's more interesting and magical. With Julia explaining everything, Luca falls in love with it all and wants to learn more. He wants to borrow a book for one night, and Julia generously gives it to him. But Julia's closeness with Luca makes Alberto jealous. He doesn't want to lose his friend. He takes Luca to see their scooter again, but Luca isn't satisfied anymore. He wants more knowledge, and even thinks about going to school. Alberto says no way. A sea monster can't go to school. If they're exposed, it's over. Then they run into the bullies again, and Alberto, already upset, picks a fight, nearly getting them both beaten up. Luca steps in and saves them. Luca says Alberto shouldn't look for trouble, but Alberto says it was all part of the plan. Alberto knows deep down that his role as the human expert is losing its appeal to Luca. To win the race, they go into overdrive training. They're exhausted, running on coffee. On the road, Luca spots his parents and bolts. Alberto gets into a fight with Julia, angrily races down the ramp with Luca, and they fly straight into the sea. They argue on the shore and start shoving each other, fighting like little kids. Julia comes over, confused. Luca asks if he can go to school with Julia, and she thinks it's a great idea. The catch is, they have to be human. While Luca is dreaming about the impossible, Alberto decides to show him reality. He dunks underwater and transforms into a sea monster, scary looking. But what Alberto didn't expect is that Luca turns on him and denies everything. Alberto is heartbroken. But to be fair, kids make dumb choices when tempted. That night, Alberto's dad notices he's missing and goes looking for him because he knows his son is a good kid. Now Luca is panicking and starts rambling nonsense. Julia splashes water in his face to calm him down, and that's when she realizes Luca is also a sea monster. She tells him to leave because this town survives on fishing, and most people here want to catch sea monsters. Luca goes back to Alberto and finds a huge mess. Alberto trashed everything, including their dream. Luca tries to apologize, but Alberto shuts him out. Then Luca sees the markings on the wall and learns that Alberto's dad left him a long time ago. He's been alone all this time. To cheer Alberto up, Luca decides to race at any cost and win that scooter. To avoid being exposed, he wears a wetsuit to the race, turning heads everywhere. But Luca is determined and starts the race. The bullies take the lead with the help of olive oil, but they're being followed by fish. Julia is in the lead and Luca is right behind. Next comes the pasta eating round. Julia finishes first and takes off on the bike. Luca gives it his all, passing car after car, overtaking Julia and even the bullies. But rain starts pouring down, and Luca has to take cover so he won't be exposed. Just when he's losing hope, Alberto shows up with a giant umbrella, but the bullies trip Alberto, and his true form is revealed. Alberto doesn't want to drag Luca down and tries to handle it himself, but the bullies throw a net over him. That's when Luca finally snaps. Right then, friendship means everything. Luca ignores the danger, gives up his dream, and chooses his friend. The bullies chase after them, hoping to get a reward for catching a sea monster. Julia helps her friends and ends up taking one of the bullies down with her. Luca stops and turns around to help Julia, which surprises her, but soon they're surrounded by the crowd. At the critical moment, Julia's dad steps in and says, "I know them, they're Luca and Alberto." He announces they've won the race. Even though they're sea monsters, the referee says by the rules they won fair and square. Julia's dad has some standing in town, so he manages to keep them safe. Even the bullies' own gang gets tired of their behavior. Then Luca's parents show up. His mom says she was worried sick, but she's also proud of him for winning. They're the true underdog champions, and there are other hidden sea monsters in the crowd. At the end of the story, Julia is leaving for school, and Luca walks her there. Alberto has finally let go of his obsession with the Vespa and feels at peace, stronger than before. While seeing Julia off, everyone surprises Luca. They sell the Vespa they worked so hard for and buy him a train ticket to school instead. His family agrees to let him attend human school, as long as he stays safe. Finally, Alberto says goodbye to Luca. Alberto chooses to stay and learn how to fit in, while Luca still has a long road ahead, and that means they still have a long way to go before being accepted by the mainstream. The truth is, everyone has a private island in their heart, a place where they keep things they don't want others to know, things most people wouldn't understand.